I just wanted to add that. I wanted to ask very quickly with my remaining time here as we wrap up this hearing about Arctic OCS. As you know, Shell canceled its exploratory drilling program up in the Chukchi for this summer based in part on the Ninth Circuit decision that came out that determined that the EIS for the lease sale was deficient, and also failure to provide regulatory certainty from the department as far as how to move forward in the Arctic. So as I have talked with Shell, what they are hoping for and what I'm hoping to understand from you this morning is how the department intends to proceed with this. Will it be kind of a dual-track process where the department will work to remediate the EIS that the Ninth Circuit struck down, while at the same time committing to evaluate the exploration program so that Shell can proceed with work in 2015? Because the concern, of course, is that, well, we just work on the legal track, but we're not working the regulatory track at the same time. Can you tell me how that's going forward, and when you might expect that the regulations for offshore exploration might be released?
Thank you. Just to be clear, Senator, the decision that Shell made to not go forward was not based from their conversations with us on regulatory uncertainty. My colleague, Brian Salerno, a former Coast Guard admiral who is running the Bureau of Safety and Environmental Enforcement, has been working hand in glove with Shell, including looking at its subsea containment system and working closely with them on a plan to pursue their activities in the Arctic that we consider to be a good illustration of where the regulations will come out, but we're not slowing down the process of their ability to drill based on waiting for the regulations to come out.
No, and I wasn't suggesting that you were slowing down.
Okay.
What I know is not complete is that these regulations have not been released.
Right.
So as Shell is trying to determine how they do proceed, they need some certainty. So I'm just curious as to how we're coming with the timing of that, and then how that's tracking with dealing with the deficient lease sale.
Well, they're in the process of writing up the regulations consistent with what Shell was already tracking for. And we expect to have them published in the Federal Register this year. So there should not be difficulty if there is a green light through the Ninth Circuit Court and the supplemental EIS for them to proceed as long as the court is satisfied. So we understand the very limited drilling season. We understand the challenges of logistics and staging. And we're working closely with the courts on what they expect of us in terms of an update to the EIS. And we're continuing to stay in close contact with Shell and ConocoPhillips on their interest in pursuing this. So I do not anticipate the regulations that are being formulated to have any impact at all on their ability to operate once the courts have agreed on a path forward.
Well, and I just know that we're monitoring very carefully in terms of when these regulations will come out. Initially, it was anticipated that they would be out well by this point in time. You've now indicated that they will be done sometime this year. Just for planning purposes, knowing what the rules of the road are critically important. You mentioned that the short drilling season that we have up north. Another thing that we're facing is that many, if not all, as I understand, of the leases in the Beaufort and the Chukchi will expire before we can reasonably expect oil production to be brought online. And so, well, it's maybe a little bit premature at this point in time to talk about extension of those leases. I think it is something that the administration is going to have to look at in terms of its commitment to working with those that have leases in the Arctic, recognizing the challenges that we face with any kind of exploration opportunity up there, both on the environmental side, both on the regulatory side. But if there is a true commitment from this administration to advance Arctic exploration offshore, I think that is going to be a situation that we will have to look at, because the timing is not coming together as one might hope in terms of the lifetime of the leases and the ability to advance with the exploration and the production. So I just put that in front of you.
Senator, I know that my colleagues at Bureau of Ocean Energy Management and Bureau of Safety and Environmental Enforcement are working closely with the operators there. The suspensions of leases are in active discussions. We understand that there are time delays. If an EIS isn't done right the first time, it throws you back, and it impacts the regulatory certainty for operators, and it's unfortunate that that occurred, but we are working actively with the companies up there in what they desire and what we think is appropriate for the American people.